Thanks for staying with us. We're starting from page review today with The Nation. Major headline, Tinubu targets economic revival, 50 million jobs in 3 years. And you can't miss the picture. There are two pictures on the front page today. One picture shows the president and the secretary to the government, that's Akume, the vice president as well, at the inaugural FEC meeting. That's the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja yesterday. And another picture shows the chairman of Coronation Capital, Aiki Mokwide, as well as the governor of Lagos and president of Directors Board African Import Bank, that's Afrexim Bank Group, and also the group executive officer of Access Bank. Anyway, but the news, the story, Obaseki fires Shaibu's media aid as rift widens. Citigroup predicts rise in foreign investments. Sounds good for those thinking. Why we dropped Sanwo-Olu's nominees by Speaker. Federal government stops frivolous official trips at cost-saving in cost-saving measure. Cameroon's Lagdo Dam opening sparks fear in 13 flood-prone states. Federal government urges relocation from threatened area. And palliatives warehouse looted in Bayelsa. Osun secures stores. So, why did the speaker? What did the speaker say? Who has the story of what the speaker said? Okay.
The speaker. He said that the House of Assembly has remained an independent body empowered by the Constitution, and they exercise this responsibility by clearing some and rejecting some. Saying that none of you, all of you people shouting, if you have problem, come to the House of Assembly and come and talk. But for now, they are not going to confirm the people that they haven't approved. He says there is no, he debunked the rumors that there is a problem between him and Governor Sanwo-Olu. He said it's pure performance, and he says why anytime we go, we say no to the governor's request. He says this is in his that anytime we say no to the governor's request, it becomes an issue, and the so-claimed enlightened conclude that we are fighting the governor. He said the House came up with many resolutions in the last 4 years, which the executive did not carry out. Nobody noticed that one. No? Now it's this one that we are all noticing. That's where he said they have their own rights. It's their constitutional responsibility, and they have exercised this. He said they are saying they are sacking all the technocrats. That who is not a technocrat? That they too, they are technocrats. Political technocrats.
I watched the video and I was like,
oh, you watched the video?
I watched the video. Don't worry, the video was interesting. But you know, a lot of our politicians would say, there's no rift, we're not fighting, we're just doing our work. In that same, we've been hearing there's no rift, there's no fight between Edo State governor and his deputy. The deputy has come out to say, I'm very loyal to the governor. Me, I don't have any problem. I can be loyal to the governor and still have a political ambition to become governor. Yeah. It does not mean I'm not loyal. Well, at the colloquium that the governor of Edo State, Obaseki, did to celebrate 60 years of the referendum, which Way Midwest, that's the name of the occasion, the deputy governor came with his media aid, and according to what the Nation carried, there was the media aid of the deputy governor were attacked by the governor's security aid, and that fracas that happened at the event, subsequently later that same day, the entire media aid attached to the deputy governor were disbanded. Wow. So the correspondent, the Nation correspondent was confirming the fact that the governor's chief press secretary, just, you know, after the drama at the venue, at the event, they decided that they sacked the aides, and they said he was following the directive from the governor after the issue at the venue of that occasion. But, you know, like they still said, I will quote them again, There is no
Rift.
Anyway,
Assume.
yes, there's no rift here as well because our president has directed the reduction in the number of federal government officials that attend foreign events on government sponsorship. This is by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngalale. So they said the president has ordered a reduction in the number of government officials that participate in foreign trips to enable this administration save costs in the cause of governance. And it's going to start with the United Nations General Assembly that is to take place in September. They said that this directive, they're warning that that this directive be implemented by various MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies, and that wherever it is discovered that this directive has not been followed, necessary actions will be taken during the final verification process. So this is a huge deal. Like, this is not something that they're expecting you to try and go around, because if you're found out, you face the consequences. And the president says that he wishes to affirm that henceforth government officials and government expenditure must reflect the prudence and sacrifice being made by well-meaning Nigerians across the nation. The statement says. So it's,
So
you know,
yes,
he's saying the right things, because this is what Nigerians have asked. You've asked us to tighten our belts. In what way are you doing this? And so this is one way that we can say we've seen. So we'll see who dares to, you know, circumvent this direction.
I didn't catch it. I was listening to the news, Kenny, on the radio this morning. One paper, some of the governors, some have employed 500 aides, 500. One, I think Kanu is 90-something.
But you know they are independent, so whatever the president is doing is different from
I
what the...
I know. I'm just saying,
Or maybe if the president said
while they're trying to tighten it from the top,
It might flow down.
The-
We're hoping it flows down.
the
The
governors,
next level.
the only states, I think,
96.
okay, I think not Imo State, or one of those states has only 43 aides. And then the governor, Lagos State, has said that they will employ aides from the ministry. Civil servants will be, which is a good thing. They're not going to go out
and
start looking for aides.
Speaking about the president saying important things, so he has promised 50 million jobs in 3 years. He's targeting economic revival. So the story starts from a beautiful point. It says, just like cynics will say that, you know, it's been promises and promises. He's saying that now, for us to move further, we must go back and have homegrown re-engineering of our service delivery. So it's not like a promise without a deadline and without a process.
There's a 3-year timeline.
There's a 3-year timeline, and then there's a specific way to achieve this, which would be, so it's like an order to the ministers, not just an open statement.
Fantastic. Let's move on to the Punch. I'll just read the headlines. FECOM folds 3-year economic revival plan. Tinubu wants ministers to achieve the first phase of Tinubu's 8-point agenda within 3 years. Cameroon dam flood to hit states in 7 days. That's from federal government. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics kicks as ex-statistician faults the ex-statistician general faults new employment data. Extractive firm underpaid. That's $10 billion in taxes, royalties. That's from Neiti. Abiodun diverted local government allocation, 10 billion naira bailout, council bosses allege. Tenants bite off neighbors' ear over electricity bill, and NLC FMBN clash over 238 billion national housing funds. Wow. Okay, so we'll just take one story before.
Can I take the human interests?
Yeah.
Okay. The tenants who chopped off her bits of her neighbor's ear. Apparently, she's a 39-year-old female tenant, OpeOluwa Agoro, and she bit off the ear of Oloruntofunmi Folorunso. Apparently, they got disconnected. I think they're all tenants in the house, and they got disconnected. So someone directed the Oloruntofunmi to go around collecting 500 naira from the tenants so that they could reconnect themselves. And when he got to her, they started fighting. Apparently, they had the problem already. They started fighting. They started abusing themselves. The next thing, she just dragged him and bit off
Like
They said
chopped off.
according to an eyewitness, says he dragged him and bit off his ear, and they had to.
Is the human teeth that sharp?
I'm hoping that maybe it was just
A bit of
the ear, maybe not the, because I don't know how you can bite off the whole ear.
Don't know what anger can do.
Yeah.
You don't know what anger can do. And we are talking, the talking points in Punch. That's where we are.
So I have this story from Ogun State. This is a juicy story, and I think everyone should read it for themselves. I'll just try and take bits and pieces of it. So the chairman of Ijebu East local government area has written a letter to former governor Chief Olusegun or Shoba, right, of Ogun State. And in the letter, he's talking about how the current governor is accusing the current governor of diverting the statutory federation allocation due to state local governments in the last 2 years. He says that he alleges that over 10.8 billion naira fund of the Shopi was diverted by the governor. He's also claiming that 10% of the state's internally generated revenue, which Constitution stipulates should go to local government, has not been given since the current governor got into office. He says that he's attributing the diversions of funds as a key reason for the APC loss in some of the councils in the last general election. So he's asking former Governor Shoba to talk to the current governor and advise him on how this will negatively impact on the state and impact on everything that he's doing. He goes ahead to say that in Ijebu East local government, our people need roads, especially in the interior. They need water. Health centers are nothing to write home about. The primary schools are something else. It's a crying shame that in 2023, some of our people still depend on water from the stream to drink. Great Owl provided pipe-borne water almost 60 years ago. The report says that they're trying to, they reached out to the governor's people, but they haven't received a statement yet, although they said that they were going to give something. But it is well laid out. He gave figures and numbers and how he thinks these funds were diverted. So it's good.
It's public knowledge whenever the funds are released. So.
Because he had said that the Commissioner of Finance, Mr. Dakpo Okunbadejo, had said that the commissioner claimed that 20 local governments were owing the Ogun State government 17 billion, which they continue to deduct. So apparently they're trying to say that's the money.
Why they were?
They are deducting the money. But he is saying they are not owing Abekuta 1 naira. Meanwhile, yesterday, I had to go and buy tipper before our cars spoiled. Go and
by yourself?
to go and fill the roads on
your street.
3 tipper. I bought, but still no, it didn't reach. I have to buy another one today. Maybe next week, if we gather some money again, I buy more.
What has happened to your letter that you sent?
When we took it to the local government,
It's not a hot topic. We're doing the front page. You gist us. We will give you time to gist it. Maybe you'd have done it during banter. Take your story.
Okay. Thank you, Tokwe. I have a story on page 17. It's the story on Cameroon Dam. That dam again, the Lagdo Dam. So the current Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, has called on the Nigerian Governors Forum, trying to alert them to start to put measures in place because the dam will be opened in another 10 days, she says. So beyond the governors, she's also trying to encourage everyone to ensure drainages are well cleaned, ensure blockages are removed so that we don't suffer another major flood attack whenever that dam is open. Here in Nigeria, so many states to be affected. So she's calling out the governors to do something fast. Let's see how we have measures in place before the dam hits us and we're majorly affected. So
NLC and the Federal Mortgage Banks, they disagree over how the contributory mortgage that is being deducted from their account is being spent. According to there are disagreements between both of them. Both parties have been talking to each other, and the conversation is around the fact that the initiative is not fulfilling what it's meant to, which is the federal government created this initiative to ensure that Nigerians have access to affordable homes, and that is not happening. Contributions are being made, but the result is not bringing affordable homes to the people that are making those contributions. Whether the fault is now with the Federal Mortgage Bank or there are ways they could have put pressure on other organizations that are affiliated to ensure that we crash the prices of houses. The point is we really have a challenge in our housing, and the sooner we resolve the issue of mortgage, the faster we would allow Nigerians to have access to housing. Moving on to Daily Sun, major headline, Tinubu reads riot act to ministers. I'll not spare incompetent officials, vowed the president. In other news, we've taken the story about Obaseki and Shaibu's feud getting messier as Deputy Governor's media aid were disbanded. Lagdo Dam, we just took that story. 5 billion naira palliatives. Ex-agitators threaten protest in Niger Delta over governor's inaction. And back to unveil $2.1 billion project pipeline as Enugu holds investment roundtable. Iborove Obovori, Obaseki, Oshemole, others chart path for Niger Delta development growth. KPMG dims Nigeria's growth prospect forecast to 2.65%. Federal government prunes list of delegation to UNGA, that's the United Nations General Assembly, orders non-inclusion of officials without role. And addressing national security challenges, collective responsibility, says Ribadu. Federal government evacuates 298 Nigerians, irregular migrants freed from Libyan detention. So what story are we going with? The detention in Libya? Who has that story?
I didn't get Sun at all, so I didn't read any story in Sun.
So the federal government says, with the support of the International Organization for Migration, evacuated 298 Nigerian irregular migrants. They were freed from many detention centers across Libya. So NEMA says a total of 298 stranded Nigerians direct from Libyan prisons were repatriated back into the country in 2 separate chartered flights within the week. And, you know, NEMA is just also giving us numbers. They said the flights came in with 161 returnees, 21st of August, that's this year, and then while the flight 137 returnees arrived on Monday. Yeah. Women have spent varying periods in various detection camps in the troubled northern Africa. A profile of the returnees indicate that 119 adult females, mostly pregnant, 3 female children, 2 female infants were among the returnees, while 170 adult males, 3 male children, and 1 male infant completed a total of 298 brought back.
So sad. We shouldn't be having this kind of reports. Do you have the story on the UN General Assembly?
I actually have. I took that same story.
Oh.
Because I'm wondering, is there no law that protects or any law that serves as a deterrent? Because we hear this Libya thing every year. I'm not sure in the last 4 years, there hasn't been a year that they didn't evacuate people from Libya here.
It's not about we have laws.
People are desperate about how to leave what they feel is a more horrible condition.
Yeah. You know, so they get caught in the, you know, before, when Gaddafi was still there, I think that place was like a safe haven for them because Libya was run so well.
So Libya is not the destination,
it's not really the destination.
It's a transit, okay.
All right, so there's a story that caught my attention, 5 billion naira palliative. Ex-agitators within Niger Delta are protesting that the governors haven't acted on how they are going to spend or disburse the money. These former agitators are under the coalition of ex-agitators of Niger Delta. They said the governor seems to have diverted the money that was released by the president to alleviate the sufferings. The chairman of this group is Nkpako Buhari Bodo, at a press meeting in Rivers State, and he said, where is our palliative? He's querying that there's no deliberate program that the governor is providing, targeting reliefs to the people. He also said it's compelling that the governor releases the money before the governor experiences, according to him, the mother of all protests across the states. It will no longer be business as usual. According to him, the people are suffering, and they are going to speak up for the people of the state, that's Rivers State. They are quoting the fact that they can see what the Borno State governor is doing for his people, and the entire region is quiet, that they can see what other governors are also doing or saying they will do, but they haven't heard anything from their own governor, and they are waiting to see how the governor intends to spend the 5 billion palliative. Moving on to Vanguard, major headline. First FEC meeting, of course, we've been discussing what happened. The first FEC meeting was a very, very It was full of a lot of
Drama.
not really drama, statements that are good ideas, statements that support what we want to achieve as a country, the things we want to hear from FEC meeting going forward. And in other news, KPMG downgrades Nigeria's growth, which is sad. Obi will soon be declared Nigeria's president. That's from Abuare. He's telling Nigerians in the United States. Kwara Commissioner of Police declares man who threatened traditionalist, a wanted terrorist, will manage the release of water from Lagdo Dam. That's from the federal government. Cabinet, no going back on rejection of 17 commissioners. That's from Lagos State. No NYSC law stops core members from becoming ministers, but ambassador to leave Name. Investors losing confidence in economy under Tinubu. That's from PDP. And the Midwest and the drama that happened. So, do we have any story in Vanguard?
I have a story.
85% Nigerian graduates? Is it?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have a story on the train. The MD of the NRC, Nigerian Railway Corporation, who is set to face disciplinary actions over the operation. So the story talks about a twist around alleged mismanagement and operational discrepancies on the highly popular Abuja-Kaduna train service. I mean, that thing was celebrated so much. It has taken a lot of investment, and now we are talking about operational mismanagement. Why?
Because we, the people, are not
fellow
doing our
Nigeria,
jobs. Yeah.
why?
Tribune had two major stories that we can't get to, that 85% of Nigerian graduates have no digital skill. 85% is a worrisome number. What report had that, Mariam?
Yes, so they're saying that more than 85% of Nigerian graduates have no digital skill. There was a survey that was done and called Get Bundis, an online education technology outfit. So I just try and read as important bits of it because it's quite a long story. It says that 100 million young people are not prepared to take up, that's Nigeria, are not prepared to take up good job opportunities required, that requires these modern skills. There's an overwhelming digital gap that has been linked to high unemployment rates in Nigeria.
I'm happy that we have a new minister that covers the digital economy, and we're hoping that...
So they said 100 NYC members showed that only 19 of them had any form of digital skill. It says, yes, many of them are on social media, but proper digital skills.
Monetizable
those that
skills
are even have the digital skills is maybe Microsoft Excel and basic knowledge for all that they need. But they do not put the blame only on the kids, but
social media skill that they have. They don't have the
core skills that can monetize.
Make them money.
So maybe we need to shout it
definitely.
out. Yeah.
The information is out there, and I'm sure that the relevant people will take it up and act on it. That's what we can take on front page review for today. When we return, we have a special segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.